Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited, episode 85. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week is...
Michael Booth Ninja Powers.
Yo.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Man, since not a lot of people are going to care about this, but it has something to do with what we might talk about on this show. Um, since this Monday, my wife and I, we ordered Apple Watches. Um, and as of Monday, my wife's watch has went into prepared for shipping, and my watch is still stuck in the processing phase. So I've just been repeatedly, like every 15 minutes on my phone or on my computer, like just refreshing the page.
That sucks.
So today was interesting though, because we I today was the day that, it's reading comment sections on macrumors.com and stuff like that. People were, as the week went on, people were getting more and more irate because some people were getting prepared to ship, and they had. Okay, for starters, when you went online on April 10th and you went to go pre-order something, immediately within like 3 minutes, the shipping window became like the 24th to May 8th, and then 2 minutes after that, it fell to May 13th through May 27th. So my wife's watch that she got fell within the April 24th, May 8th, and mine's in the May 13th to May 27th. And I ordered them within minutes of each other, like at 3:02 in the morning. So, as you can imagine, there are a number of Apple fans out there that did the exact same thing that I did. And some of them ended up with like shipping times in June.
Oh, wow.
And what was happening is, as the week would go on, people that had shipping times in June were getting prepared to ship notifications. And people that had the 24th to the 8th were still stuck in the processing phase. And so the comments were getting more and more like irate, and it came to a head this morning because I guess last night, in order to address the issue that people were seeing, Apple sent out an email which has been known as the email of death. Um, it was to reassure people that had the April 24th to May 8th shipping window that their orders were being processed as fast as possible. Um, because people were getting mad, and I kind of understand where they're coming from. At the same time, I think they're being completely irrational about the whole thing. I Now this launch, if you will, has been a complete travesty. It's been a train wreck from the beginning, mainly because they produced so many different options for the watch. Like the cheapest version of the watch, there are six different versions of it.
That seems like overkill.
And then you know, the smallest, cheapest version, there's six different versions of that. And then in that same cheap version, they made a slightly larger size, and there's six versions of that, and that's the Apple Watch Sport. So right there are 12 versions of a watch, and then that's just one tier, and then you move up another tier, and I think there's like another eight in that one. So you're looking at 20 different combinations of a watch that people can buy, which is unprecedented for Apple. They don't do that kind of stuff. They go, you've got this, what ended up being 20 watches should have been more like 12, because they produced like their Apple Watch Sport came with like all the different color bands. Usually they would do two color bands and then say, if you want a different color than black or white, you have to come buy it. So just kind of, me being who I am, I'm following what's going on and reading different articles, and there are estimates that they've already like pre-sold like 2 million watches. So I was talking with a friend today, and we're kind of like doing some math on the whole thing, because he and I both ordered the same watch, and we're both still sitting here waiting for our watches to ship. Granted, Our stuff isn't supposed to ship until the middle of May, but we're still hopeful. Um, it's just using the Apple Watch Sport as for the simplification of the math. If they produce, because they have 12 different watches, if they produced 100,000 of each of those watches, that's 1.2 million watches that they made. And
Huh.
we know that they've roughly, on estimates, they've sold 2 million across all 20 different versions. So a lot of people were complaining that, I got mine at like 304 and the guy down the street from me got his at 304, but he's getting it before me. That doesn't make any sense. I think what it comes down to is, yeah, they show you like down to the minute, like when your order was placed, but what they don't show you is like the second that it was placed. And I really think it came down to a matter of seconds to grab the first wave of watches.
That's funny,
Um,
but it makes sense.
and so people, and people are mad, and understandably, not actually, no, it's not understandable. I don't understand why people are mad. I don't. My buddy and I were just like reading the forums, and I was like, we should make a bingo board for like Apple product launches or product launches in general, because there's, you'll have your free square, and then one of them will be like a lawsuit, like who's going to be the first person to mention filing a lawsuit because they didn't get said product on launch day. And it's
That's
just,
just trivial.
it is. And I sit back and I keep telling myself I've got one ordered. Like it will get to me when it gets to me. And the joke I made was, most of these people, the way they're acting, it's like they're going to lose the ability to tell time tomorrow if they don't have this watch. And I just want to go in these forums and be like, how do you guys tell time right now? Like, I don't know. I On the flip side though, this launch, like as I said earlier, could have gone better. They shouldn't have had so many different models. They should have kept it simple like they do with all their other products. And I think, and there's a precedent for this. Now, Apple being as big of a company as they are, they don't have to do anything. Like I said, they've already pre-sold 2 million watches, which trounces anything that Android Wear has done and Pebble has done. Like, Apple is the king of another market. Even though it's like tiny, they're still the king of it. And they sold a premium product, they sold a product at a premium versus, like $150. So it's, for them, they just walked into another market and took it over, like they did with the iPod and like they did with the first iPhone. I say the first iPhone because I don't want to get in the whole semantics of Android and iOS. But so they don't have to do anything, but there's a precedent for them doing something for customers that feel jilted. When the first iPhone came out, they dropped the price of it by about $100 like 2 months after it came out. And sure, there were people out there that had bought it that were mad that they paid $100 more for it than the guy that's going to get the phone 2 months later. I wasn't one of those people, but my mom also told me that I paid $100 extra to get the phone 2 months before everybody else will. And
Hmm.
that was kind of a cool way to look at it. But Apple went above and beyond, and they gave everyone that had bought the phone before said price cut, they gave them $100 Apple Store credit, um, which you could redeem for an iTunes gift card if you wanted to. So it doesn't have to be like, I mean, we all know how expensive Apple products are. I think I went and bought an iPod Shuffle because I couldn't think of anything else to buy. But, and then when the iPhone 4 came out, they had the whole antenna issue where if you held the phone the wrong way, you might drop your phone call.
Yep,
They
I
released,
remember that.
they gave everyone a free case that wanted one. So, I mean, it wasn't just like, one of their cases. It was a free bumper, but you got to pick the color. It wasn't just like you can only have a black one. It was pick one of our cases and you can have it as, because you think we screwed up. Here you go. So I feel like this time around, because it's a watch and they're trying to sell like different watch bands, I think they're going to give people like a $50 store credit, because $50 will get you a sport band, which are like the rubbery fitness type band, but you could also put it towards $50 off a more expensive band. So like the $50 number at least gives people the option to get a free band or a discount off of a more expensive one. So I think, again, they don't have to do anything, but that's my prediction about what's going to happen to make this right, even though they don't have to. And I don't think they did anything wrong, because technically no one's missed their shipping windows, because nobody was promised a watch on the 24th. So, but that's been like my entire week, just like reading these comments and seeing how mad these people get. And it makes me feel like a good person.
Well, you're not complaining over trivial garbage either.
No, I'm just saying, it just makes me feel, I read this stuff and I'm like, man, I feel like a decent person.
It amazes me how worked up people get. I mean, I shouldn't say that it amazes me, because it kind of, there's just a lot of people that get worked up over their gadgets, but especially their Apple gadgets.
And that's the other thing.
And then there's some people that just, kind of like you, that just understands it, kind of takes all these variables.
Oh, it's like, I've got my place. I have my place in line. It's not like they're going to just, I'm not going to get one, I don't, and maybe this kind of goes in what we were talking about last week or like the week before. Like, we're kind of victims of what we want to see or hear about. Yeah, we were talking about the trailers, the overexposure to trailers. Like, I don't see, like, I'm an Apple fan, but I try to follow all of them, like Android and the window and Windows and stuff like that, to just so I know what's going on. But I don't ever feel like those phones or those operating systems or those companies even get this kind of fervor around them. Like, it's interesting to see this. But then again, like I said, I can't follow an Android thing because there's like a new one every week. Like, there isn't something for people to rally behind.
That's true.
And the problem that Apple is having is a problem that they all want to have. But they don't. So, but anyways, yeah, that's what I've been doing. Just, constantly refreshing my phone. And I mean, I've got my order page opened up here and I'm constantly refreshing the page just in the hopes that it switches over to prepared for shipping. Because even though it does say like the middle of May, Apple has a tendency to under promise and over deliver.
Okay.
So, like, almost everything I've ever ordered from them arrives before they say it will. So I've got that going for me. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I've been following like other stuff that we'll talk about here in a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, I had to do the first presentation of the the Joker dialogue thing that I'd mentioned
Yeah,
that I was going to have to do.
How'd that go?
My nerves got the better of me. It went well, but I was so nervous I thought I was going to like have a heart attack. Even though it wasn't anything that was super difficult to do. And it's not like I haven't done the voice before. It's just, I think it's because I'm standing there in a classroom and freaking out because of that.
Yeah.
So I know what I have to do now, but I think it's going to make it easier, being that he gave the option, and our teacher did, that Monday the students can choose to do their vocal thing a day early. So we can either have a practice one on Tuesday, or we can actually do our final presentation and just be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll probably do is because I have to go there the last day anyway because I have to finish another partner scene thing that the other guy that I don't need it, but the other guy needs it. So therefore I have to show up. Um, so I'm gonna end up doing mine the final day, which means probably half of them won't be there anyway. So it'll make it easier on me. Um, but yeah, so did that, and then dealing with the site going up, down, up, down, up, down all week. I have no idea why. And then working on my garage, which I mentioned to you off air.
Yeah, I have that to look forward to when it gets to be spring and stays spring.
Oh, you mean not that show up for 75 degrees and then go back to the 40s?
Yeah, that.
And snowing?
Yep, that one.
That was just ridiculous. I was sad.
Sad. That's something I'll get mad about. And that's something I have zero control over.
The weather.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the weather, especially in Michigan. I know everybody else is getting hammered with it too, but
I'll get mad about it because that means I have to spend money heating my house.
that's true.
So,
So do we want to get into the stuff of the week?
Yeah. Okay. Well, real quick, just up front, this is kind of the thing I wanted to talk about, but I'll just get it out of the way, because Earth Day was this week.
This is the Earth.
I've been using LED light bulbs I had them in like almost every light bulb in my old home, and I've been trying to. My new house has a lot more lights in it. So I replaced all the lights in the rooms that my wife and I use with LEDs. Like I brought all my LED bulbs from my old home over here and put them in all the rooms that we regularly use, like the bedroom, the family room, the kitchen. They have LED bulbs, but their LED bulbs are kind of expensive. But starting in May for Earth Day, Home Depot and Phillips are getting together, and for the first 90 days, starting in May, they are going to offer basically a buy one, get one free on Philips 60-watt equivalent LED bulbs. So you'll get two for $5, which is good because most of I mean, even like the house brand LED bulbs from Lowe's or Home Depot are like $2.50, $3, and this is a name brand 2 for $5, so $2.50 for a name brand bulb. So my wife's given me permission to go buy like $50 worth of bulbs, as soon as they have them. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there because Earth Day, and I'm all about keeping my electric bill low and, proper lighting for a home, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with lighting in general. I get pissed off when I'm at the movie theater and I look down the hallway and I find that the night crew has replaced like one bulb in the hallway with a cooler light than the other ones, and I can see it. And it just annoys the crap out of me. So, anyways, that's all I wanted to do right at the top. So,
Okay.
what do you want to talk about first?
Well, Comcast is dropping its bid for Time Warner.
Yeah.
As of today.
I don't know how that would have affected us. But
it doesn't. It would affect Blanchard. He has Time Warner. Oh, well. So no Comcast for him.
Well, I don't know if he's lucky or not.
I don't know either. I don't know what the difference is.
Infrastructure? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could have gotten us
Uh,
faster internet faster if they had merged together. I don't know. The only thing,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal. I mean, I know that it was a big deal. I just don't know what exactly was. Uh,
it just would have made them the biggest provider of TV and internet in the United States. So I think I that's why they were seeing so much opposition from it.
hmm.
So because it would remove a lot of competition. So I think there's Comcast and Time Warner Cable for cable, and then I know there's Charter, but I don't think they mean anything.
Yeah.
And then there's Verizon and AT&T and for TV over TV over internet, and then there's DirecTV and Dish Network. So there are three ways to get TV, and basically you would have it would have come down. And there are six companies and three ways to get TV and six big companies. If this had happened, you would have ended up with three ways to get big TV and five companies. And I think that's what they were trying to avoid.
I could see that.
It's called a monopoly,
Hey, that's like the game,
I think.
or whatever they call it here.
I'm sure I'll get schooled.
Yeah, I'm sure. Um. So yeah. Oh, they released the BotCon information
Oh,
today.
you were thrilled about this.
Yeah, I was kind of pissed. Um, because I'm going for the Saturday. I'm not doing the whole weekend thing, 3 day thing, because it's $60 for the whole weekend and it's $20 for just the day pass, which there's no kind of discount. Whereas like TFCon, they give you a discount depending on how many days you do. Like it's $45 for the whole weekend, but it's $20 for the Saturday and like $20 for the Sunday and 15 for the Friday or something. Or I don't know. Maybe it's like 25 for or 30 for one of the days.
Right.
But I know they give you a discount, but they don't charge you for autographs at TFCon.
Well,
You,
that's good. That's so weird to me.
it's a fan convention, fan run convention. It's not like the official Transformers collectors convention type thing, like BotCon has turned into. Uh, and this is the full details on it. They released it today. It says the Frank Welker VIP pass, which this is the first time he's ever gone to a convention as a actual guest. Uh, he's the voice of the original Megatron, Freddy and Scooby from Scooby Doo, and among other characters that he's done over the years, millions of characters. But his VIP pass, it says this package upgrade allows you to access the guest, and it says it's in addition to the cost of your Primus or Golden Ticket Primus package, which those normally run anywhere from like $250 to $400, depending, because they come with the toys and a bunch of other crap, and then you get preferred everything.
Okay.
And it says you must also be a Transformers Collectors Club member to take advantage of this event, which means you have to spend another $50 or $40 or something to be a club member. And the Frank Welker pass includes one autograph signed in person by Frank Welker, one professional 5x7 photograph with Frank Welker on the Saturday. It says exclusive Megatron art print, exclusive Megatron pin, first seating at the Frank Welker panel, no photography at the panel, are permitted during the autograph session. That's what it is. And it says the cost is $200 added to your golden ticket or Primus package. So in addition to spending, $200 to $400 plus the extra $40 plus that you're spending $200 for him, you're looking at like almost like half a grand just to talk to one guy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and like I want to see the guy, but I could never justify that, and I would not pay extra. Like I would pay like say you know if they were gonna have him there, like if it was $50 to see him, sure, you know, because he never goes and he's Megatron and he kind of has been in everything. But same time, I think what is it? Stan Lee does for like 100 and something, like 125 or something. And that's the creator of Marvel Comics. But yeah, and then it says for the walk-in on Saturday or Sunday, and you want to meet guests other than Frank Welker, it says an autograph wristband can be purchased for $20 that gives you access to the autograph line as many times as you want to the other guests.
That's crazy.
But if you buy the upgraded packages, you get to see the guests for free, the autograph guests.
I don't know. I just can't.
It almost makes me not want to go, just because of like in spite of this entire like cost gouging.
Yeah, but there's other stuff you get out of it, isn't there?
Yeah, there's other stuff, but like TFCon, I got so much out of it, and I spent $25. I got all the panels. I got to meet Scott McNeil, which is 4 characters on Beast Wars, and various characters on like Mega Man and stuff like that. So he was super cool, and I talked to him for like 10 minutes. And that's why his line took so damn long, was because it actually ran over through a couple different panels. I missed an entire panel I was planning on going to because I was in line waiting for him. But it's because everybody he gave an autograph to, he'd autograph whatever you brought up to him. You could bring up 5 things and he'd sign them all. And then he sat there and he'd BS with you for about 5-10 minutes, and then he'd take a picture with you, and off you'd go.
See, that's
and,
nice.
And he sat there and ate his lunch there so that he could keep hanging out with the fans.
That's nice.
So like him, I had like profound respect for at the con right away. But so far they've got the voice actress that played RC in Generation 1, Megatron from Generation 1, among other characters, which is Welker. And then they've got John Moshida Jr., who's Blur.
Okay.
In the Generation 1 and in Transformers Animated. So, which, I mean, I think it'd be cool to see them all. I'm mostly going because I'm going to go with my brothers, and then meet some of the other people we know through the fandom that I don't know in person, but I know online. So it'll turn into a fun event. It's just that the voice actor thing is kind of a downer because they're going to gouge you for every little thing you do.
It's because they can.
I know. Because Hasbro. That's all I have to say. It's the same reason they're making a cinematic universe out of Transformers when there's not one there.
Well, now I'm curious about that because I kind of thought that's what they did already.
Well, they're talking about expanding it, but I don't know how they're planning on doing that. Like, I mean, it's typically like villain of the week movie and a lot of explosions and no good story. And
well, I mean, okay, I don't want to get into that side of the whole thing. I'm just saying, yeah. I felt like that's what it was already. Like, you've got, I mean, you're 4 movies deep. They're all connected to each other. Some more than others. Like, I feel like 4 is directly involved with 3, which is fine. Maybe they mean that starting with 5, they'll have like if you look at it this way, the first 4 are like the angel on top of the Christmas tree. And 5 is where the Christmas tree actually starts. I guess, maybe.
I could kind of see that, but I really don't see where they could go.
Well,
I mean, they left open Megatron's revival at the end of 4, but
I think,
So I
but
mean, you have the optimus.
they could tell, and they've done a lot of setup for things. They could tell like the Dinobot story. They could even, God forbid, they tread on this holy ground for you, but they could do Beast Wars.
I hope not.
Um, I'm just saying, like, there's stuff that
Yeah,
they've mentioned that they definitely could turn into movies. So,
I think they'd benefit from a GI Joe crossover. Instead of having just the military, just have GI Joe crossover with it because
what military?
that's what. Well, they've had little military people show up in the first three.
You know what I think was a better Transformers movie than Transformers?
Is it Prometheus
No,
or not Prometheus?
I'm gonna get
Uh,
blasted for saying this. I know I am.
Go ahead and say it.
It's Battleship.
Battleship. I have not actually seen that.
I had that movie like that movie was sent to die on the name alone because people laughed it off as they made a movie based on a board game. And I think anyone that's actually sat down to watch it has enjoyed it or thought it was at least fun. And the way that they even found a way to integrate some of the board game things in a not cheesy manner. Not only that, I feel like they're essentially fighting giant robots. I mean, it was made by Hasbro, right? And so there's a lot of Transformers influence in there, like the lens flares from the lens flares are all there. The sounds are almost all identical. Outside of them not being or turning into vehicles, they look like Transformers before they take on their disguise. Um, but the military presence in that movie is what throws it over the top for me because it has a strong military presence. It is actually the military defeating the aliens. Um, and if you watch in the Transformers movies, there's a strong military presence in the first one, and they even develop or realize they have a way of fighting back against these things, but that never comes up again, and we are always at the mercy of the Autobots saving us.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is one of the things that annoys me the most about Transformers. I know that you and some other people, they want it to be more about the robots and less about the people.
Well, I think if it was meaningful people instead of what they keep giving us,
Right.
that's what I was saying. If they possibly merged it with like, and I've heard people say, mix it with Mask or mix it with GI Joe, or I think if they mixed it with GI Joe, I think it would help it actually because neither one. I mean, yeah, Transformers is a cash cow, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's good. I mean, yeah, it's a shut off your brain action flick and it's good as far as the action's concerned, but the story just blows in my opinion. But uh, I think if they added the GI Joe element, they could have meaningful characters that could take down the Transformers.
Okay.
In essence, basically like the crossover comics that they had for like Image and Devil's Due.
All right. Barely meaningful characters they would be
Yes,
adding.
I mean I'll give you that.
Not only
I mean
that,
they're all barely
you're
meaningful.
still to me, you're still stepping outside of what I think the military would be capable of doing. Like it's not. I don't know. I'm not saying I want to see, you know, the U.S. Armed Forces take on the Transformers. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying like I I don't know. I didn't like the way they're portrayed in that, and I just thought everything was better portrayed in Battleship than it was in Transformers. So, and I'm not saying Battleship should win any kind of Academy Awards or anything like that, but I think if you sit down and you put aside the fact that it's called Battleship and the premise came out of a board game, I think you can actually have some fun with it. So
Yep.
But the connected universe thing, I think they'll pull it off. They'll do something. Now with the connected universe thing though, at least you get to see somebody else direct Transformers.
So they say.
Okay, Michael Bay is not going to direct. They're probably going
5 and 6.
to no, they're going to want to pull off like what Disney's doing or Marvel. That and one director's not going to be able to handle that. That's what I'm saying. They're probably going to try to do like 2 movies a year, like everybody else is. So it won't be Michael Bay doing 2 Transformers movies every year. So
Yeah, I guess I kind of see that.
you can start doing like your dream casting. Who would you like to see, direct a Transformers movie? Guillermo del
Maybe the
Toro.
guy that did the Battleship movie, or the
That was Peter Berg.
or the Fast and the Furious director, since it's just throwing metal at each other anyway.
Yeah, I could see either one of those. I could also see Guillermo del Toro, especially after watching Pacific Rim.
People that actually understand interaction between humans and robots
Yeah, maybe Steven Spielberg could actually do one.
instead of just producing it.
Yeah, except he's busy because um, he's doing BFG for Disney, and he's after that he's supposed to do a novel that I just got done reading, which is Ready Player One. So, not saying he couldn't; it would just be a long time. So maybe JJ can do a Transformers movie.
Ooh,
Lens flare. It'll be just a giant lens flare
that would just be horrible.
with voiceover, just pulsing lens flares as people talked, like stars. I'm trying to remember what that was from. I know there's like a TV show or a movie. Oh, it's like the scene in Futurama where Bender is talking to God. Have you seen that episode?
Of what one?
Futurama, where Bender is talking to God.
I don't think I've seen that. No.
Oh, it's one of my favorite episodes. It has a couple of good lines that I absolutely love in there. But God, in this case, is a cluster of stars. And when the voice actor is speaking as God, the stars light up like a God, what are those things called? When the audio goes along with like a visualizer.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, got off track.
That's funny. Uh,
You want to keep going in the expanded universe thread? Because there's Galaxy Quest.
that I wouldn't mind,
I'm
depending.
I want to know I want to know if it's going to be more Galaxy Quest like the movie, or if it's going to be the actual TV show that the movie was like the behind the scenes of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Like, are we going to be watching like
A show within a show.
yes, or is it going to be like Star Trek but in the Galaxy Quest universe, which is essentially what the show is? Like that's what I want to know. The other thing I'm kind of laughing at here is if Galaxy Quest ends up on TV before Star Trek.
That's just a joke.
But I'd like to see that. I mean, I'd give it a watch. So I don't think they're going to get anybody from the movie to come back. So it'll be interesting to see how they frame that TV show.
Yeah, I really doubt they'd get anybody from the movie.
Well, I mean, Tim Allen's back on TV and Tony Shalhoub is a TV guy, so could end up with some cameos.
That's true.
But
Which would be nice. But again, I don't know.
I don't have a soft spot in my heart for Galaxy Quest. I just thought, for me, this story was interesting because of what I said before. If it ends up on TV before Star Trek does, so that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Alrighty. How about Disney's movie release schedule?
Oh dear Lord, I don't even know where to start.
It's a mess.
I don't know. It's not well, if you because of the way they presented it in that photo, that slide. Yes, it looks like a mess. But once you put everything down, you realize everything has like a specific month. It's not so bad. Um,
They are spaced out pretty well, other than the month of May. There's usually two movies every May.
um, yeah, it's what it's looking like, from what I can tell. Um, Dang it, my computer's being stupid. Sorry. So when I was looking at this, the two things that stuck out to me, first of all, is there anything on this list that stands out to you?
As far as what I want to
No,
see,
no, no, just like kind of odd, maybe that you weren't
um,
expecting to see on here.
uh, well, one I didn't. Does that say DreamWorks Ghost in the
There
Shell?
you go. So I didn't expect to see one. I didn't expect to see Ghost in the Shell because it does. It says DreamWorks right over top of it. The other thing I didn't expect to see is Bridge of Spies, which is another DreamWorks movie.
I wonder if they're in, because I know DreamWorks isn't doing all that hot.
Well, I think this is just another. We'll make the movie, you distribute it for us.
Ah,
I'm pretty sure that's what this is. But yes, I don't think they're not doing that hot anymore. So I think they've kind of gone back to maybe they've always been this way. I don't know. I feel like they've always been a production studio and never a distributor. Like they've always made movies for Paramount. So now I guess it would be interesting. It's interesting that Paramount's losing all their stuff to Disney.
I find it actually kind of funny because Disney owns Pixar, and then they're possibly, I mean, I'm going to make this prediction that they're going to eventually buy DreamWorks and just
Well,
fold it into Disney.
well, DreamWorks Animation was already sold to somebody else. DreamWorks Animation and DreamWorks are two totally different studios.
Ah, well,
So they wouldn't be getting
wait, wasn't Universal the one that bought the animation studio part?
possibly, but I know that like How to Train Your Dragon is distributed by Fox.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was Fox that bought it.
I
I don't know.
don't know. So those were the two that stood out to me. One, well, first of all, I didn't even know what Bridge of Spies was. I still don't know what Bridge of Spies is. Um, Anything you're disappointed in seeing on this list?
Um, Toy Story 4.
Yeah, there we go.
Because especially it's not even going to focus on the original characters, and I think they wrapped it up pretty well with the third one. And then they had the digital shorts to kind of expand it, but not really kind of choke us to death with
hmm
it's just showing that they're still continuing, in their little journeys, but it's like like a 5 minute, you know, episode of the kids playing. Basically, it's not a full blown movie plot going, and because half those guys are on their way out the door anyway.
Right.
Um,
The stuff on here that I'm not familiar with, like I don't know what Finest Hours is. Never heard of it until now. Zootopia.
I'm guessing that might be like a March of the Penguins type thing.
Possibly. Jungle Book. I know there's another Jungle Book being made too. I think two studios are working on Jungle Book movies. Um, let's see. I knew about Alice. I knew about Dory. Unfortunately, Pete's Dragon. I didn't know about
I
Moana.
didn't know about that or the Zootopia or the Finest Hours.
Moana.
I have no idea what that
I
is.
didn't know anything about that. So like basically what's interesting about this is the same type of slide they used when Marvel got up and announced their slate of movies.
And this is just a 2-year window right
Yeah,
here.
this is insane because
This is more movies than what Disney or Marvel has for their next five.
and then I mean you've got one, two, three, four Marvel movies. Five Marvel movies.
Five.
Sorry, five. You have one, two,
Three Star Wars.
three Star Wars, four Pixar. Sorry,
Two DreamWorks.
this is and 2018 is going to be a repeat of this because actually the fall of
They're going to have another Avengers movie, another Star Wars movie.
well, the fall of 2017 I think is supposed to have the next Star Wars anthology movie
Huh.
because is that
Well, no,
true?
it's Star Wars Episode 8's coming
Yeah, they're not,
May of 17.
but there's something. I think they wanted one a year. Is what they were going for. So yeah, maybe okay. So yeah, maybe one Star Wars film.
Per year.
Yeah,
So 18 may be
the second anthology film.
yep.
So,
I'm surprised Pirates is pushed out as far as it is.
but you know what? That's going to come up so fast. It it will. It'll come up so fast.
But wasn't the last one made like 3 years ago?
I think it was longer than that.
4 years ago. No, it came out in 2011.
Yeah, so long.
It's been a
ago.
while. So I mean, that's Johnny Depp's. I mean,
But they're shooting it now, so
yeah, they're shooting it now. So I mean, that'll help. But
I don't know.
I think they were trying to turn this one, because this will be the fifth, and the sixth into another kind of a two-part type thing, kind of like they did with the previous set.
But this one, like, seeing its location on this map makes Pirates of the Caribbean, the fifth one, look like such an afterthought.
Like, yeah, let's put it here.
It's like, oh, we were going into production on Pirates of the Caribbean, and then we bought Marvel. So
and Star Wars.
yeah, we bought Marvels and Star Wars while we were working on the fifth one. We don't really need it anymore. So
And we have Tomorrowland. We don't.
I'm
You
excited
know,
for
we're making
Tomorrowland.
more. That actually looks pretty good. Actually, for once, one of their ride movies looks good again.
So
I don't think any of their films that have been based off a ride have looked as good since the first Pirates movie.
but and I like Brad Bird. So you know what's absent from this list though?
What?
Incredibles 2.
Oh yeah, they were talking about doing another one, weren't they?
Yep. Because he's doing the rounds for Tomorrowland. He hasn't confirmed if he's directing, but he said that he's writing. So
It'll come out 2018.
to me personally, if he's not directing it, I don't care. I love The Incredibles, but I love The Incredibles because of all of its parts, not
Yeah, it was a spectacular movie.
so. All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
Hmm. I'm wondering. Have you watched the Batman vs Superman trailer?
I did.
Yes. I know we talked about it the other day off air, but
I know you had to watch it several times before it won you over.
yeah, I did not like it whatsoever when I first saw it.
I was sold the second I saw it. I mean, but there was the only negative thing I've had towards this movie was when we started recording Alter Geek Unlimited and we literally went through like the 5 stages of grief or whatever about Ben Affleck being cast like alive, like in the recording. That was the only negative thing I've had about this movie. Everything else, I'm like, all right, okay. Like they keep adding people to it. I'm like, fine. Let's see how this works out. Like, and I don't know. I know that I was talking with some people at work about it, and they were bummed because it still doesn't tell them anything about the movie. And I don't know. I've taken this weird stance with trailers, and we talked about this last week when we were talking about Genesis, like Terminator Genesis,
Yep.
and that trailer. Like, I've stopped. I will watch the first trailer, and I will not watch a second trailer because, especially if I'm on Twitter and it comes out and someone tweets out that, well, that just gave away the movie. I won't watch it. Like, so the fact that this trailer doesn't say anything about the movie, like, other than just get me excited for it, I I don't care. I don't want to see another trailer. I mean, we'll
I
get another trailer, but I'm really hoping it doesn't spoil the crap out of the movie.
I mean that should be something we talk about at a later date of how bad trailers have gotten. Um, but uh, yeah, I was kind of disappointed what they did with the trailer. I thought it was kind of overkill. But like I said when I was talking to you about it, they've done that with the other Terminator movies too. So kind of handed away their bag of tricks before they just right from the gate. So
Yeah. I will say this, Batman is huge. And
oh, he's a
I'm
beast.
not just saying that and when he's in like the mech suit or whatever, he's huge. And like I said when we were out to lunch, I think that's because they kind of went, they went the reverse with his costume. Like the armor plating is underneath the stretchy spandexy stuff. Um, so it's like the opposite of like the Bale suit. So I feel like that's why he looks so huge. It's not because Ben Affleck is big. Don't get me wrong. I feel like he looks huge because of the way that they designed the suit, where the armor is now underneath the costume instead of like over top of it, which is fine, and it's exactly what we thought it would look like. So
Yep. It was if you go back and listen to the earlier episodes of the podcast, we predicted that suit,
it's one of the only things we've
and
done right.
I'm completely happy with it.
I'm happy with like all of it, maybe because like I don't. Maybe it's because I don't see a lot of things with like Ben Affleck in it. But when they show him as Bruce, I didn't really like. I saw Bruce. I guess as dumb as that sounds. So
I can see that. It actually kind of looked like just how he was. Uh, I like the narration that Alfred gives.
the pep talk, the
Yeah.
get your ass out of the cave.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get your ass up and get going.
Do we
Do
want
your
to
job, Batman.
talk predictions for the movie, or do you want to
Yeah,
leave
we could
that?
do that and then close it out.
I personally, I think the most telling thing in looking at everything that's leaked out about this movie, from them wanting an older Batman that was, kind of done more or less, like he was doing his Batman thing solely from the cave, sending out drones and whatnot. Um, and from everything, given all that information and what we learned, what I got out of the trailer was I feel like Superman is going to be painted as the villain here. Um, and Batman will be the hero. I think Batman is actually going to help the Man of Steel become Superman. Um, and the reason I say this is because we do have evidence of the drones in the trailer. Um, that is not the Batwing. That is a drone. That is way too small to be a Batwing. Um, and I feel like Alfred's pep talk gives it the way the most. Like Bruce's, he's. I feel like in that state with that speech, he's done, and Alfred's saying like you can't be done. You need to go and like be the world's greatest detective, if you will. You know, you need to figure this guy out. I feel like that's what that speech is. Like, get your ass out of the cave and go do something. You can't just send drones after this guy. Um, so where that fight takes place, though, I don't know. I don't think it's the end of the movie, though. So,
I'm guessing the beginning somewhere, like first hour of the movie, and then they actually discover their villain.
so, what do you think?
I mean, now that you've kind of brought that up, I think I kind of agree with you. I wasn't really sure what to think to begin with. Um, but they almost have kind of that Dark Knight Returns, where they have in the comic the people on the radio and the TV conversing about Batman being great, and then other people saying, "Oh, he's a menace, he's terrible," blah blah blah. Um, I think they're doing that with Superman here, and then I think Luthor, I think, is going to be the one that kind of takes center stage to develop a way to attack him and hate him and everything because it's stealing his thunder, from maybe the news or something. I'm not quite sure what they're going to have him do yet, but um, it should be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm not quite sure what their plan is there. But and maybe towards the end you'll start seeing them deciding to gather other people for a league of justice, since it's supposed to be the dawn of justice in this.
I almost wish the rumor of them breaking it into two parts would have been true.
Because then they could have called it Dawn of Justice and Justice League.
No, the rumor was it was Dawn of Justice and then Enter the Night.
Oh, okay.
Now I say that for twofold. One, because I think that as a two-parter, I feel like Enter the Night makes Dawn of Justice sound better. Not only that, I want to see I want to see somebody. It doesn't have to be Warner Brothers, but they had a perfect chance to do this. I want to see somebody try to do what Warner Brothers tried to do with The Matrix, which was release the sequels 6 months apart from each other. Like, in this day and age of like the franchise and like the two-part movies and stuff like that, I feel like everyone's kind of like a year between sequels is like it, right? Because you've got like Hunger Games and like Saw and Insurgent and Twilight. They were all like a year apart. But I feel like audiences might be ready for, especially when it's like a two-part movie, I feel like they might be ready for the 6-month thing again. I don't know. I just thought it would have been interesting because that was like the original plan. I think they were gonna. The rumor was, you've got the March release, and then they would release the sequel in October. Like part 2 would be October. So, I just wish it would have happened. One, because I would love 5 hours of Batman versus Superman. Instead,
I'm not going to say I wouldn't watch it because I know I would.
Instead, we'll get like 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's okay.
Yep. So I think that's it this week. I mean, and I hope we get some comments on it. We did get some comments last week on the show.
We were really harsh on Arrow.
I know. And it wasn't that we were trying to be harsh on it. And if you want to hear what we had to say in full, it's in the comments on the last week's episode post. But yeah, it was just kind of saying that Daredevil more or less put the bar higher that the other ones have to strive to hit. And each one, it seems like each show that comes out anyway does that to the previous one. It's just people have gotten used to what they've seen so far.
See, also, I think part of it, to be fair here, is it's personal taste, right? Like,
yeah,
some people don't have a problem with what Arrow's doing, or they don't have a problem with what Flash is doing. It's the reason why people like the Marvel movies but don't like the DC movies. Like tone, everything, like it's all personal taste. Like I feel like Flash is better than Arrow, and Arrow is better than Agents of Shield. But to me, Daredevil just like takes the cake like all around because it has. I don't know if Flash would work with Daredevil's tone. Like, and I don't mean like tone as in like seeing people's like limbs get broken and like the visceral nature of Daredevil. I don't think that would work with Flash. But I also don't know if the darker tone would work for Flash, because Flash is kind of a happy-go-lucky character. I do know, because we've seen it in season 2, that Daredevil's tone works with Arrow, and that low-level street crime stuff works with Arrow. But yeah, whatever. We talked about that last week, and it's all in the comments. So
Pretty much. So, anything else you want to bring up before we close it out?
No. Other than we're gonna record an episode for the new Off the Cuff, but so people have that to look forward to in the next couple weeks here.
Yes. So, yeah. All right, then. So, thank you for listening to Altered Geek Unlimited. You can get a hold of us in the following ways. You can call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. You can contact us on the website, geekcastradio.com. You can contact us via Twitter at Altered Geek. My Twitter handle is at SCP21, and yours is?
Mine is at BoothNinja81.
So, until next time, get Altered Get Geeky with the Altered Geeks.
Bye.